Hello and welcome to this BuyBotPro video. So today I'm going to be answering one of your questions. So I was scrolling through the YouTube comments and came across this question here. Can you show me how to analyze what the best price to sell at would be comparing prices from the previous sales? Which is a great question. What kind of pricing should you be looking to sell at? And BuyBotPro is going to go a long way to helping you make this decision. So that's a great question. I thought I'd expand on it and do a video answering this. So in BuyBotPro, you have your buy price and sell price. Once you've got both of these in here, you then just need to click on Analyze and you get all of those useful analysis results for this item. So it's going to show you profit, the competition on the item, the history for the item, and so much more. The sell price that automatically fills in is dependent on your preference that you've set in your settings. So if you come to settings here, then come down to sell price, it will automatically fill in one of these things here. So the buy box price, which is the current one, the low FBA price, the FBA 90-day average price, the new 90-day average price, or the buy box 90-day average price. So setting one of these could actually help you gauge what kind of sell price you want to be selling at. So right now I've got it on the current buy box price, but none of these things are incorrect. It's just dependent on your preference. So that can give you a good rough idea to start. And then obviously we're going to take a look at the rest of BuyBotPro to figure this out. So there's a couple of things we need to consider. We need to consider the history of the product and the current competition to gauge what kind of pricing we might want to look to sell the item for. So if we scroll down to the competition analysis, we can see that there are lots of sellers on this particular listing. We can see that the current buy box holder is Amazon at $34.99. The next seller up is a merchant fulfilled seller at £44 and so forth. It keeps moving up like that. So obviously Amazon have set the lowest price on the listing, and the fact that they are Amazon as well is probably why they've currently won the buy box. They do only have 3 in stock, however, which can give you some hope. They've only got 3. They will likely sell out of that soon, particularly at that kind of pricing. And they might not replenish that straight away. So you could maybe hop in that at a slightly higher price, maybe matching somewhere around this £44, £44 to £50. You might be able to slide in there to put you in a good competitive spot to potentially sell this item. But let's not rely purely on the current competition to help us decide the pricing. Let's take a look at the history. Now, there's a couple of places that you can see the history for the item to help you gauge what kind of pricing it either consistently goes for, or what kind of phase it's in now compared to last year. Or, you know, if in this particular season it sells for this kind of pricing, maybe in the next season it sells for a slightly different tier of pricing. We don't know unless we take a look at the history. So let's turn off some of these toggles to make things a little bit clearer. So let's toggle off the BSR. Let's toggle off the lowest new price for now, and let's take a look at some of these other factors. So the buy box price is probably going to be one of the most important ones that we look at, because that's the price that it would most likely be selling for, unless obviously customers have come on and selected the individual seller that they want to purchase from. But obviously we're not going to get that information here. So let's pay attention to the buy box price. That's the most probable price the item has been selling for. So we can see that in March it was at $39.99, and since then it's been at $34.99. Seems to have consistently stayed there. Amazon seemed to have also had a good hold over this product too. We can see that there was no buy box here, and Amazon are out of stock. Then we can see the buy box reappeared at the start of this month roughly, and it has resumed the price of $34.99, and that has not changed since. So we can see that in the last 90 days the price that it has been at the most is $34.99. Let's scroll down and take a look at the averages as well. This is super important because it can help you see consistency with the product, and you can see what kind of pricing it has consistently stayed at, or you can see if it's fluctuated. You know that the sell price for the item, the buy box price, is a little bit unstable. So you might want to exercise a little bit of caution if that is the case. Let's say for example, the last 7 days was $34.99 and the last 30 days was, I don't know, $20. If the last 90 days were then around $40 and then 180 it goes to about 30, like it's really sort of up and down. So we might want to exercise a little bit of caution when it goes to setting our price. So we might want to pay attention to the most recent period of time, so maybe the last 7 days, and then keep an eye on it and readjust if necessary. But obviously everything looks to be quite consistent in terms of the averages that we see here. We can see that it's roughly the same case across the board. So with the FBA sellers pricing, it stayed between $55 and just over $60. So it stayed within that window. It's not fluctuated crazy. We can see that the Amazon price that does often line up with the buy box price, which again reinforces that they have spent a good amount of time winning it. Obviously that won't be the case for every single listing that you look at. It just happens to be the example that I'm looking at now that Amazon have heavily dominated it. But it could be that it's an FBA seller that has consistently matched the buy box price average, and maybe it's a range of FBA sellers that consistently get it and win it. But ultimately, when it comes to setting your price and looking at the kind of price range that you want to set your item at, taking a look at who's had the most possession over the buy box, what kind of seller, what kind of pricing they've had, and the buy box price, these averages tables are going to go a long way to help you with that. So based on this and what we've seen in this main sellers chart, $34.99 seems to be the place to be. And then going back to the competition analysis, as I say, they've only got 3 left in stock, so they could sell out. They might not replenish that, and then it might be another seller's time to shine. So we could potentially get in there somewhere in between $34.99 and $44, just to put us in a good position to potentially win the buy box, to be at a good competitive price. And then we can perhaps look to raise that if Amazon just remove themselves from the listing and it's down to everyone else to sell that item. We could then potentially raise our pricing. If you're setting min and max pricing, it's always good to take a look at the current set of pricing on the listing to help you with a range. So obviously you don't want the minimum to be above the buy box, because if you're repricing, it's just going to set at your minimum. It won't be able to get the buy box that's below your minimum. So you want your minimum to acknowledge the current buy box price of $34.99. So you probably want to set your minimum at that price, maybe like £1 or $1 or €1 cheaper than that. And then your max price, you want to take a look at the other end of the pricing spectrum on the listing. So we can see here it then goes up into the 60, 62, 65, 69. So you might want to then set your max price somewhere around this level, so that way if it does reprice and it does win the buy box, it can work to move it up and you won't get any high pricing alerts or anything like that. So this can give you a good range for setting your min and max pricing. But if you're setting a specific price, for now on this particular example, I would advise setting it somewhere around the current buy box price, maybe a little bit above, in case they sell out and don't join the listing. And of course, just keep an eye on it and readjust if you feel that that is the case. So hopefully this has helped answer your question. As I say, you can get a good idea right off the bat with the sell price that automatically fills in, and then you can reaffirm that with the current competition, and then just take a look at the history as well, see the kind of pricing that it's consistently sold at. And hopefully that will help answer your question, help you understand what kind of sell price you want to set on the item. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.